Well, welcome to Men Are So Smart, the Christmas special. We could call it the holiday special.
No, we don't do that.
That's kind of crap.
We're not PC like that.
No. You know what's funny though, Ronnie? At work, you know, I work at Trico Welding in Woodland, California, and I try to, you know, say thanks and something to each one of the customers as they are in the store. And I find it, my first reaction is to say, "Happy Holiday." And I go, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not what I want to say."
Right.
That's what I'm conditioned to say.
Yes. That's awful.
It's happened.
Awful. Your brain has been infected with the disease.
Yeah, I think it's called political correctinitis.
Yes. You've got it.
Yeah, and there's a ringing in my ear too. I don't know if that's related.
You might want to get that checked.
I'll probably have that checked out. It's yeah. And it better not to hear you. Hear no evil. Speak no evil. See no evil. All right. So from both of us, Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
And to our producer, Chewy of Chewdawg Productions, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Yes, very much so.
So what he asked us to do was to get together and do a little reminiscing of Christmases gone by, and perhaps maybe some thoughts on this Christmas coming up, and maybe hopes for the New Year's as well. We'll see. So Ronnie, we both grew up in Sacramento.
Right.
And logistically, we were really actually pretty close.
Pretty close. Not really walking distance.
Yeah. And we never knew that growing up. We met in like 1975.
Right.
In high school.
Yep.
And so we've known each other since then. But I can remember growing up in Sacramento. One of my earliest memories, I've mentioned in previous episodes that we moved from New Jersey to California. And when we did, we moved in with my relatives, the Brackmans, Grady Brackman and Chris Brackman, Melinda
Grady
Brackman.
was in my class.
Yes, those are my cousins. And so we stayed with them. We moved from New Jersey and we moved to California. We moved into their house. They opened the doors to my mom, my dad, my sister and I. My sister was a baby. She couldn't have been more than about 8 months old.
Wow.
And they opened the doors to us. And so we have a lot of memories of Christmases together. It was always a big family thing in the Gallagher family. But I remember that we used to go each year to some sort of a Christmas extravaganza at the Memorial Auditorium.
Oh, wow.
We went with the LeBates, Vince LeBate.
Oh, I know Vince.
His dad had something to do with this event. And there's just all kinds of Christmas music and a movie, I think, and cookies. And every kid that went got a gift.
Oh.
And so they would just hand you something, and it didn't matter what it was. And this is starting to sound like we were so poor but that's not what I mean. This was just an event that you went to each year, and my cousins and I, we all went. We used to always get gifts, and somehow I remember it fondly. So these gifts, I guess, must have been pretty good.
My mom was single parent, and she had no money at all. But the next door neighbor was a civilian employee at McClellan Air Force Base.
Uh-huh.
And every year they had the same type of thing where they would take, I'm sure every employee got to sponsor one child or something and take them out to the base, and we got a present. And looking back on it, it's like, oh yeah, I was that kid. I was that kid that was poor, but we got one gift, and it was nothing, spectacular, but it was a toy. And the other thing they gave us was a ticket to a Giants game.
Oh, yeah.
And so every year we would get on a bus and we would have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the way to the game.
Sweet.
Ride out there on a bus to the game, get out there, watch the game, and then ride back. I mean, I've seen Juan Marichal play, Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Orlando Cepeda. I saw the classic Giants play baseball, and it's a very, very fond memory.
For sure. I can remember one Christmas, I think I was probably about 12. We went out because there was a big party going on, a family party going on at our house. And so we snuck out and we began to steal Christmas light bulbs
I have heard this,
off of people's houses.
but I love it.
And and you know who I blame?
Uh,
Chris Brackman.
Was he older?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Chris.
Yeah. He always was a troublemaker. He and I almost came to blows one time. At that point, I was quite a bit bigger. But anyway, he was leading the pack. He was the wolf, the head wolf, the alpha dog. And so we were stealing light bulbs off of people's homes and then blowing them up in the streets.
Right.
Well, we got caught. And
Ruh-roh.
yeah, the person who owned the house, why we didn't or were unable to run off, I don't know. Maybe some of us did and some of us didn't. But he took us back over to my house.
Oh, that's the worst.
Knocked on the door and got my parents to come out and explain what we had been doing. And man, my parents,
A little bit of trouble.
wow. And they had been drinking too. This was like Christmas Eve. You know what I'm saying? So that whiskey, it was pouring. And that's a dangerous combination right there.
Yeah.
You want to talk about child protective services.
Mad at your kids and drinking. That's a recipe for disaster.
You know what? My point is that I never felt so awful in my whole entire life, Ronnie.
Right.
Here it was Christmas Eve. I had disgraced my family's name in my own neighborhood. And it really wasn't my idea to do this, but there I was caught up in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
So, but another memory I remember, not to be redundant, my parents were big on the surprise.
Oh, yeah.
In the morning, on Christmas morning. So what that meant was, and I remember we used to get up early. Did you do that?
Yes.
Did your mom let you get up really, really early?
Well, like, 6 a.m.
Oh, no, I'm talking 4 o'clock.
Oh, no, that 6 a.m. was pretty early for me.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. And so, much like parents will, they didn't appreciate that. My mom wanted my dad to have everything just right. And so that meant he had to get a fire going in the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
The coffee had to percolate. And he had to get a cigarette in and just, I don't know, just to be ready for what was about to take place. And then it was the ceremonial running down the hallway of my sister and I. And there's always a picture somewhere. There's pictures from almost every single year of my sister and I running down the hallway to see the tree with the presents all wrapped around it. And that was a big thing. And then they used to keep the big gift in the kitchen.
Oh.
And this is, like we didn't pick up on this, my sister and I. So.
It wasn't like a Red Ryder BB gun behind the Victorola.
No,
nothing
not like that.
Okay.
No, the kitchen door was closed. It was always closed, which is very odd because it was never closed.
Okay.
So anyway, we'd open up all the gifts around the tree, and when you're a kid, you're going, "Is that it? Is that all? Is that all we got? Is there more?" And my parents would say, "Oh, well, you'll get some more presents later from your family,
right.
and this and that." And they'd say, "Okay, well, let's go in the kitchen and get some breakfast." It's like, seriously? Like we don't see this coming. The big present that we really wanted is not under the tree. It's gonna be in the kitchen.
So the pony was in the kitchen.
A motorcycle.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, we had a really big backyard.
Holy cow.
Kind of like your mom's house.
Yeah.
And my dad one year bought me a motorcycle. It was like maybe a Honda 90.
Oh, yeah.
Small enough.
Uh-huh.
And it was a street bike, but I put knobby tires on it.
Oh, sweet.
Get traction in the backyard.
Yeah.
And I could get it to do a little wheelie.
Nice.
So I was like, for a year, I was like the coolest kid ever.
Yeah.
My
How
dad.
old were you then?
I was probably 14, Ronnie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known you then.
I know. It was so cool to have a motorcycle, and I could ride it any time. And
now, see, you opened all your presents on Christmas morning.
There may have been some times where we did maybe one present on Christmas Eve, but nothing more because my parents wanted that big surprise.
Yeah, see, we traditionally, when I was growing up, we opened all of our presents Christmas Eve.
Really?
Christmas Eve was when all the family presents were opened. And then you woke up Christmas morning and that's when you got your Santa present.
Oh.
So you got your special one present, you know, from Santa Claus on Christmas morning. And we have family down in Lodi, and so we spent a lot of Christmas Eves and Christmas Days in Lodi. And so that was kind of how they ran it back then. Now, once I got into law enforcement, I didn't have every Christmas day off.
Yeah, that had to be
so we did this, but I typically worked day shift, and so Christmas Eve in the evening was good to go. We could open all of our family presents Christmas Eve, and if I was working Christmas Day, I'd have to be at work at 5 o'clock, so there's no way to get the kids up that early. So they would save their one Santa present until I got home from work. But yeah, it was kind of neat because I got all my presents Christmas Eve. I could call up my buddy and go, hey, I got this, this, and this. Well, we don't get to open our presents yet. Well, sucks to be you.
Yeah. You know, another thing I might add that Ronnie's not going to tell you is that one of the things that he would do is, I think before he had kids, and then after they were kind of grown, is he would volunteer to work on those holidays so that guys that had small kids could be at home with their families. And I always found that really commendable.
Because that's who it's really for. It's for kids.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if you have young kids, I was always wanted to pick up a shift.
Well, so that was a little bit about Christmas past. I've got a lot of great memories. It was always my favorite holiday. And now, you know, as we come to the close of the year 2017 and Christmas, is upon us, I'm very fortunate that now I get to see Christmas again through the eyes of my grandchildren. And both of them, are a little bit young to grasp the whole Santa thing, but they both just love driving out and seeing lights on houses and stuff, and going to some of those big displays. Which reminds me, did you ever go to? We broadcast from Sacramento, California, capital, and one of the areas that's really just a beautiful place to live and even visit is an area called the Fabulous 40s.
We go down there and look at their Christmas lights.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
We did that last year with Jay and Jacob, and I'm sure we're going to probably do that again if they haven't already done it. But oh my gosh, if you could see some of the houses.
And it's block after block after block.
20 blocks of homes.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like, you know, not just one or two on the street. Every single house is decorated just impeccably too.
Yeah.
You know?
Now we have very close to here, we have a very nice display in Orangevale. It's called Dovewood Court.
Oh, I've heard of that, Ron.
Dovewood Court is amazing, but it's one court. It's probably a dozen or so houses decorated, and it's over the top. It's over the top decoration. I mean, with live carousels and a lot of displays in garages and a lot of animated, you know, Santa Clauses. And there's one house that's my favorite. It's decorated in the style of the Christmas Story. It has the leg lamp in the front window. And so it's very cool. But that is literally just a couple miles from here. And so we go there every year. But my future son-in-law was here and his family last year, and we took them to see the lights at the Fab 40s. Wow, he was
blown away.
Yeah, completely blown away.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't kid you. This is something to see, especially if you're in or around the Sacramento area. You know, it's worth traveling.
It's pretty crazy,
to be sure.
Yeah.
So you know, Ron has a daughter, and she is married. And
will be married,
about to be married, right?
In June, yeah.
And so Ronnie's not in a situation where he has any grandkids yet.
No.
And so as a grandparent, I can't wait for that to happen.
I'm looking forward to it.
Because I know I talk about it endlessly. I'm sorry. You'll understand someday, Ronnie. I promise you. And you'll go, okay, now that's what Lou was talking about.
Yeah.
You'll know that feeling soon. I know you will. Not too soon.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what we wanted to be grandparents.
Yes.
We wanted so badly to be grandparents, and it just wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam,
back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two. 2 kids. So that day's coming for you soon.
Yep.
And you'll get to see Christmas all over again through the eyes of a kid.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there anything that you'd really like for Christmas this year?
You know what? Yeah, not really. I'm not really a guy who, if I need something,
You have
I
everything.
can probably buy it.
I know, you have everything.
So for me, Christmas is about getting new slippers.
Me too.
You know, stuff that I wouldn't typically go out and buy for myself. A lot of times, my wife will go out and buy me a watch.
Oh yeah, you love watches.
I have a ton of watches, and she'll buy me a watch, and that's pretty cool. And in fact, this is my 50th birthday watch.
That's
right
a
here.
beauty.
Yeah, Citizen.
Wow.
It's the Blue Angels watch.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love it. But so that's
I'm gonna
kind
check
of
that out.
that's kind of what I am into.
Watches. Yeah.
And, you know, she used to buy me something musically related every year. I should have let her buy me the ukulele, but it was too good a deal to pass up, so I bought it for myself.
Gotcha.
But you know, that's just kind of, I'm not really big on wanting for anything.
Yeah. See, that's kind of where I am too. Here's the thing. I don't really need anything.
Right.
You know, I have all I need really, and I don't mean to sound too sentimental here, Ron, or for that matter, I hope you won't interpret this as being cliche, but each year we take the family out for a dinner, and it really doesn't so much matter what restaurant or what part of town or how much it's going to cost. It makes no difference. The biggest and best gift that I could possibly get is having all 3 of my kids in the same room at the same time.
That's big.
And then my grandkids.
Yes.
So,
Even bigger.
you know what? You don't have to get me anything. I had mentioned that I'd like to get a holster for my gun.
Oh yeah.
And so my wife said to me, do you still want to get that? I go, you know what? I don't need that. I really don't. Don't bother. Save the money. Spend it on somebody else.
Yeah,
You know?
that's.
Do I
pretty-
need a holster? No. Hell,
Yeah.
I don't need that. Do I want one? Yeah, sure, but
I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
is your house decorated?
A
Not
little
so
bit.
much?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mhm.
I hung up the Christmas lights. I don't know if you noticed that when you came up.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I did put up Christmas lights, which I've done the last couple years, but
Aren't you getting too old to be on that ladder?
yeah. Well, you know what I did? I backed the truck up to the gutters and stood on the tailgate. It's amazing. It's
yeah, that's
way
true.
easier.
Yeah,
Way easier than moving the ladder around.
yeah. You
in
get to
fact-
this age, you really shouldn't be on the ladder.
A friend of mine he's a coach at Jesuit High School. He fell off his ladder this year and he was cleaning the gutters in anticipation of putting up Christmas lights. And he showed me a picture of his wrist because he put his hand down to break his fall.
Mhm.
And it goes like this, and then there's a big divot right here, and then it comes back out. He broke it so badly, they had to put in plates and screws, and he also broke a couple ribs at the same time.
You know, first of all, ribs, honest to God, I broke 2.
I broke one.
6 months.
Oh, it's the worst pain.
6 months.
You can't laugh, you can't sneeze,
No.
You can't cough.
Yeah.
Everything
then
is so painful.
Break a bone at this age?
It takes forever to
Oh,
heal.
the pain.
Yeah, it takes a long time to heal.
Man, here we are, 2 old men complaining about being
Well,
old.
the next thing we'll break is a hip, and then it's
Oh, God
it's
forbid
all
that happens.
downhill from there.
Ronnie, I have falls, but I digress. Let's get back to the Christmas. Don't be on the ladder, please. I can't
Yeah.
afford to lose you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. The kids, family. Do you have a family tradition on Christmas or Christmas Eve?
You know, we usually go to somebody's house. This year we're having it at my in-laws' house in Auburn. Sometimes we travel to San Francisco. Sometimes we do it here. We used to have the biggest house, and so we did it here for a number of years, for probably 15 years or maybe 20 years we did it here. My in-laws bought a bigger house up in Auburn, and so now they are in much better position to accommodate a large group. And so, but we spread it around, and we have a nice dinner, and we don't really exchange a lot of presents with extended family. You know, they open all their presents and we open all our presents before everybody gets there. But it's just nice to, like you said, to get the whole family together
under the same roof.
It's only a couple times a year. Usually for us, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
let me ask you a question, and it really isn't in the outline that we have for this episode. Do you miss your mom at Christmas more than at other times?
You know, I don't know that it's more, but it's a remembrance. Like I said, she didn't have a lot of money, and so Christmases were sparse. You know, I got underwear and shoes and jeans and stuff that I had to have, but then there was always a couple of, extravagant gifts. I got a television one year that was really,
wow,
I thought, over the top, so I had a TV in my room.
Yeah.
So there, Lord knows how she, made ends meet on what she had money-wise, but I was never a want for anything.
Yeah.
It was, if I made mention of it, the only thing I really did, I've had jobs since I was 10 years old, and so I bought all my own bicycles except for one.
And guitars.
But she got me this really sweet lime green Stingray bicycle.
Oh, I remember that.
Man, that was the greatest bike. Yeah. I loved that bike. So, but other than that, yeah, if I wanted something again, I was just like, man, I don't want to wait till Christmas, so I'm going to go out and buy it myself.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we could probably go on for the entire day. This would be a long show. Yeah, but we can't do that. But we would very much like to wish you a Merry Christmas and tell you how much we really appreciate that you watch our little shindig here. Men Are So Smart. I hope that this time of year you get to spend it with the people that really mean the most to you. It doesn't really necessarily have to be family. And at this age, your parents probably are gone. And so all of those little treasured memories that you have, maybe you have developed your own little memories. And it's a little part of what your parents did. That's what I was thinking about. I pass on some of those, what's the word I'm looking for? Traditions.
Yeah. If you can, that's a great way to remember somebody, is by carrying on their tradition.
Exactly. And it could be so simple as, to light a candle. And another thing, whether you like to think about it or not, we have troops that are away from their family at a time when you really should be close. And they bring us the freedoms that we have to spend time with our family and do Christmas shopping and put up decorations. But they're away from their family. And I just wanted to say that I'm very appreciative of that. There have been years where we'll set an extra plate at the table. And we know that no one's going to sit there. But seeing that plate and that chair empty, it makes you think a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not just troops, it's first responders as well, Ronnie, like yourself, that give up their Christmas Eve, their New Year's Eve, and bring us a service that I think goes underappreciated too many times. So, Merry Christmas to you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your family.
Hold them close. Really all we really have in 100 years is the memories that we make. It's not about the money. You can always make money.
Yeah.
It's about the memories you make. And we thank you for allowing us to create some memories as well. So, for everybody that puts the show together, we've got Ronnie, Chewy, myself, we wish you a very Merry and Happy Christmas. And we'll see you in the new year, 2018, right here on Men Are So Smart.
Yep.
Until next time.
And a
Bye-bye.
happy